Okay. Um, just a little few words about anxiety, and it's something I've had for years. Anxiety has been around me for a long, long time, and it does impact my life. I do try to avoid certain situations to a certain degree, but I also don't want to let it control me. And it's a balancing act about doing stuff and not making myself ill. Although anxiety is there a lot of the time with me, it's a horrible, uncomfortable thing. It's the flight and fight syndrome, isn't it? You know, the flight and fight, and mine gets triggered a lot, and I think that's what anxiety is. And I think certain things like they say caffeine, certain environments, there's all different little factors. I'd say one of the main ones for me is childhood trauma, and it seems to be very hard to undo that in my system, in my body, in the body memory, um, and fear of people, places, and things. And even if I'm at home, you know, I can still generate anxiety by watching the telly or, you know, thinking about the past, fearing the future, fearing the past, and not too happy about the present. I mean, I can generate it anywhere. I can get quite creative around it, and I find it very hard not to. Um, I find connecting with nature, walking my dog, is a great comfort to me. I think it's finding what works for you. I think tapping can be, I think it's good to tap. So we'll do some like general, I'll get, even though I feel fearful of just being around people, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm really fearful of being overwhelmed by anxiety, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm really fearful about going in supermarkets, my anxiety goes through the roof, but I've got to eat, got to shop. I don't want to buy food online. I need to keep pushing through sometimes. I keep pushing through, keep pushing through, keep pushing through without making myself too ill. I keep moving forward, keep turning up, even though I get fearful of social events and eating out with a big crowd of people. I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though, so you can put what's the triggers for you in anxiety. I'm just saying what they are for me. So just change them to what words. So even though I get fearful of blah blah blah, just put in what it is you're fearful of. For me, even though I get fearful of going to a football match, there's 12,000 people there, a lot of noise, a lot of people, a lot of triggers. I deeply and completely accept myself, even though I get totally overwhelmed with anxiety at times at football. I want to watch my team. I'm going to watch my team. I push through. This anxiety is uncomfortable at times. It's not going to kill me. It's just really uncomfortable. I accept it. I accept it and I embrace it. It is the way it is. It is the way it is. Change happens. Change happens. And I'll just say for many years, I could be walking down the beach, very peaceful area, and there was people walking along the promenade. And every single person that I came across, I had an emotional response of fear. That's what I felt. It was not rational. There was no thing. I suppose I have been with, you know, if I was just every person that I walked past, I had this really strong feeling of fear. And you can imagine how much that energy is taking out of you. It's absolutely exhausting. And I found that anxiety at that level would bring me to depression in the end, because it would just drain me that much that it would just bring me low. And then I wouldn't have the energy to react. And then you'd get bit of energy, and it was like a catch-22 really, between depression and anxiety. These days I do get a little low at times, but the anxiety is the thing that I get. But I have to realise I am, you know, I've been working now for nearly a year, and I've broken the pattern of things, and I think it's very easy to negate our growth or not see the growth. So even though I don't always see the growth and the big steps I've made, little steps and goals that I've achieved, I'm actually doing really well. Even though I feel overwhelmed with anxiety at times, I'm actually doing really well. I keep going out, keep mixing, keep socializing, keep doing my little jobs that I'm, you know, it's okay. Even though that can create a lot of anxiety at times, I keep plodding on. And I do little things within. I hate the term strategy. I don't have a strategy. I don't think, oh, what's my strategy to cope with that? But we naturally, I think, naturally find things to bring down the level of fear. And one thing that I've found is laughter is a great thing. Have a good laugh with people, connect with people that are good for me, that I care about, and they care about me. Connecting with nature helps me. And when I am working in a stressful job, which it is stressful, but I don't do that. Luckily, it's part-time. Is I try and take little few minutes, you know, out for myself and make sure I've got my drink, make sure that I'm dealing with what I need to deal with, and just stay focused and don't buy into the pressure of the management or the job. Not to shirk my responsibilities, but just to do my job, you know, as well as I can, accept that, and move on. And that's what I do with it. And I have to say, I feel really good about reaching this goal of actually being back in work, despite the fact I have this OCD and a condition of severe anxiety. And I'm not on medication. Not that it's, you know, if people need, I'm not against medication. If people need it, that's up to them. I found it had an adverse effect on me, but that's between you and your doctor. And it can have good benefits for some people, some medicine, I know that, and therapy and things. But I've found that how I get well is I keep moving forward. And sometimes feeling the pain of anxiety, it's like, I'll just wrap it up. It's like tonight, I've got a dinner I'm going to. My instant thing is I want to avoid that. I want to avoid it. Why? Because I'm fearful of it. And I've always found that when that fear is there like that, when I walk through it, I always have a good time. It always ends up being a good night. I'm going to be with friends and family of friends. And I'm really it'll be good. And all I've got to try and do is not think overthinking. So even though I think myself into anxiety and I allow the thoughts to dictate, and the thoughts bring feelings of fear and the flight and fight, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I get this flight and fight, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Flight and fight activated. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And I know that's a bit you know, I've not got that. I've got a bit specific about my stuff, but I don't think there's any easy answer for it. I think if there was, I'd be a multi-millionaire, because a lot of people have anxiety. I try and meditate, try not to have so much tea and things like that, and try not to be around environments that, you know, are detrimental, although I do have to go in them, you know, like supermarkets. And to be honest, I feel a lot better when I've been with a lady I know, shopping with her, and it's really nice to see her shop. I'm not really a shopper, but it's nice to see her do it, and that brings me a form of happiness. And I think that's the thing, when you're on your own in a supermarket, it can feel a lot more overwhelming for me than when I'm with someone, but I crack on because I'm not letting this stuff beat me. And that's how I deal with it. I just keep moving forward and keep plugging on. Otherwise, I wouldn't do nothing. That's my thing for anxiety. I keep plodding on. I keep plodding on.